Discord update too.
Nice.
That's what it is.
Oh man.
Making some YouTube videos. Nice. Are those Gotchi videos, Hefe?
So my channel's called DAO Vision. So I talk about DAOs,
Oh, nice.
setting up DAOs, like all that kind of stuff. So it's a DAO
Dope.
centric YouTube channel.
So Gotchi.
Yeah, I remember we talked about that a long time ago. That's great that you're doing that.
Yeah, I'm finally getting into like a routine. So like actually putting regular time aside to film and then edit and like actually try and aim for like quality, quality content for DAOs. So, and my plan of long term is to actually reach out to other DAOs and maybe get some interviews going and see what other DAOs are doing because there's so much interesting stuff happening in the DAO space lately. It's pretty cool actually.
You got to find the drama, man. That's gonna drive the clicks.
Yeah, I like that.
Covering the latest ApeCoin DAO, like drama over there, and Nouns DAO, Aavegotchi DAO. Just cover the drama, and you'll be getting like thousands of views within weeks.
That's good advice.
Also, have a thumbnail that makes you look surprised for every video, like you're shocked.
Yeah, for sure. You gotta have the YouTube.
Yeah, I gotta bulge the eyes a bit on my thumbnails,
Drop a link to it.
Yeah.
I think so. I saw the channel last week. I think I got in there a bit. It's more kind of academic, right? Like you can learn what is a DAO, I think is one of the videos, which it's good to have that kind of playlist too. But Dan knows how to that's good advice. If you want to get the clicks, you want to grow the channel.
I like the spiciness of that. And I'm like very new on camera too, so I'm like still like getting used to being on camera. It's something new for me, but yeah, it's fun. I enjoy it. I'll share my channel here actually if y'all are interested.
Yeah, man.
There should be plenty of DAO coverage material for you during ETH Denver from Aavegotchi.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
You're gonna be there, right? Everybody on this, yeah.
I'll be there for the whole 2 weeks. So I'll be there for Biddle Week. Thanks to Light Piglet, I'll stay with him for a couple days, and then after that, hanging out with everybody. The Gotchi gang will be there for the main event. And so the Gotchi greeters have secured a pretty sweet venue. I don't think many of y'all have seen the pictures, but I know No Futuristic, you've seen it. It's been kind of shared internally. And yeah, apparently there's a pool. I don't know if we'll use it, but depending on what the weather's like, right? But there's a pool there at the venue as well. So Gotchi gang.
There's also a bowl pit, isn't there? Like a bowl somewhere on the property, like a grill or something like that.
Yeah, man. Gotchi Lodge is leveled up for this year.
Ooh, bowl grill, hot tub, no pool.
Oh,
yeah, I don't think you'll need a pool. It'd be like an ice.
Yeah.
It'd be like you'd be just walking on ice.
Just do a
hot tub sounds pretty nice.
Be a cold plunge every morning.
Yeah.
Every Gotchi gang's got to do a cold plunge.
No, a hot tub at a ski resort. That's the way to go. If you're anywhere in like Denver area, you can't beat that. While we're talking about your content, so what about the spaces you mentioned? Is that related to DAO Vision, or this is a separate venture? And I picked up you were talking to some kind of like head of state or something.
Yeah. So yesterday's space was pretty cool. I've been hosting spaces with Jarvis James from Bankless DAO, and so he started his own kind of thing called OSPN. It's like a play on ESPN, but it's open source people's network. And he basically goes around and finds people doing things in the crypto space that are really interested in building out infrastructure, or things like we had Tally. We had Tally there yesterday. They're a DAO tool, kind of like Aragon. So they were hanging out with us. We also had Spoolfy, and they're I'm not too familiar with what they do, but they're another like protocol in the space. And then yesterday we had John Levitt, he's actually running for state senator for Nevada, and he joined us on the space. And I think it's someone through someone Jarvis knows. and he showed up on the space, and he was so interested in like blockchain technology beyond like NFTs. He was like really interested in DAO governance specifically, and up until he started running for senator, uh, candidates in the state of Nevada could not receive donations in crypto. But he was able to affect change by talking to the other senators and saying, "Hey, look, this is not just like some like FTX scheme. Like, there's more to crypto than this," and was able to get his points across. And yeah, so now the state of Nevada allows their candidates to take donations in crypto because of him. And he's not even a senator yet. So I thought that was really cool how he approached this issue in like a very DAO-like manner. That's what we were talking about, how he kind of like approached the Senate, the state Senate, like there was a DAO, and he made his points, and you know, there's a debate, and then in the end, they're like, this, you have a reasonable argument for this. So yeah, and he was interested in what we're doing at Aavegotchi because it's pretty advanced like DAO governance with what we're doing here as well. So
Yeah. You couldn't resist, right? You had to gotchi pill him.
yeah, I had to gotchi pill him a little bit, and I want to reach out to him and gift him a gotchi because I know way back when we first started this journey, one of the things on our gotchi bucket list was heads of state are gonna own gotchis. So we gotta we gotta cross that one off here, and so I want to reach out to him and see if he'd be open to receiving a gotchi for his candidate wallet. That would be pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Get him a gotchi, and that's pretty cool. I'm from Nevada originally, so that's pretty cool what he's doing for crypto out there. Not too bad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Win movie about DAOs, like the Dumb Money movie. Yeah, I think I know what movie one just talking about. Wasn't there like a crypto film, what, 2 or 3 years ago that came out? It was like somebody got kidnapped or something. It was like a high drama or something. I could be thinking of a different movie.
Like crypto movies are coming out now. Has anyone seen the one with Kevin Hart? I haven't
Yeah,
seen it
didn't
yet,
that
but
just come out?
yeah, they like hijack an NFT or something. They steal an
Yeah.
NFT. That's the premise of the movie. NFT
Really?
heist. Mm-hmm.
I saw someone saying that it came up on the timeline and they were saying, well, I wasn't aware of this. Now I have to watch it. So I feel the same. Like, it's probably like, who knows if it'll be a good movie or not, but kind of have to watch it now. It's obligatory.
If you drop a twerking brothel into it, it's going to be a hit. So I just want to transition towards that.
Oh, right. Let's see how that post is doing. I
Are
think
we at
we did.
420 likes yet?
Let's see if did we reach the retweet mark? Because that's, I'll lower the requirements, but we got to get 69 retweets. Let's see.
I believe I saw 69 retweets last time.
63. Come on, gang. All right, let's get
There's
this.
6 people here. Let's go.
Let's get this to 69, and then Zbot, are you here? Or I can drop it too. And then oh man, so good. We'll let that marinate for a little bit. Oh, Mike Callium, actually great question. So yeah, yeah, Carlos, Nigel, and we and Pixelcraft parted on great terms. He just had kind of life things that he had to take care of. He's still Gotchi Gang. He's still very like involved on his own socials. But we did put the feelers out and have actually brought on a quite established, quite very, very capable new marketing director. Her name is Carla. I don't know if she's probably not on the call. She's still getting onboarded into the team, but she's excellent. She's former Blizzard, and also was working at another NFT gaming company in the space. Carlos transition. Yeah, so once she gets a little bit more familiar with everything, I'm sure she'll want to come on a call and say hi to everyone. She's really awesome. She's been super helpful. It's been about 2 weeks now with her, and she's definitely increasing the marketing shipping quite a bit.
I mean, she's also got a communications background, and you could tell if you guys read the dev blog. I feel like that was some of the best writing we've put out. So Dan and I did the initial passes and structured things, but she definitely came in and cleaned things up and wrote for clarity and just really gave it a lot of improvements. So kudos to her on the blog post. Just she's
And
definitely a good
honestly, that
writer.
blog post, we love that blog post, but we also are kind of scared of it because it takes so much time to get done for everyone. But with Carla on the team, that's going to be one of her items that she'll really help us get that dev update out on time and perfectly worded, with also the great tweet thread to go with it. So one of many things that she'll be helping us with.
That was a fire blog post, by the way.
That was our longest one. It was I think it clocked in at like 2,200 words because there's more and more, and like we cut a lot.
We
The
cut
directors
so
come to
much.
us. Yeah, Thrax, you and like Jesse, you were going through and trying to bullet point everything, right?
There's so many bullet point lists there, and it still came out to 2,200 words. Crazy.
And we removed chunks of it too. Like we're trying our best to keep it short and digestible.
Yeah.
The graphics
it's
break it
insane.
up too. That's nice to have a lot of
Yeah.
graphics in there to break up
Definitely
the
think
text.
like the addition of the DAO games. I mean, we're gonna have more and more of those. So maybe at some point that we'll spin that off into like an Aavegotchi DAO dev update or something. But for now, we're just keeping it all in the monthly.
Yeah, nothing stopping the DAO from documenting or doing something along those lines. But for now,
you're
they
70.
did it
All
all.
right, all right, friends. We didn't reach our 420, but let's drop it. The raffle twerk.
You guys
And
earned it.
Zbot, you able to add the Discord emoji, or I can do that too. Here we go, friends.
That was fast.
Oh man, something about that angle.
That raffle is dropping it like it's hot. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Promises made, promises kept.
Now maybe FaZe can make like a fire beat behind that. We can make it full circle.
It's in your hands now, guys.
I want to
Interesting
know what
if,
the raffle's facial expression is, though, while it's doing this.
Right.
Like, I imagine it's just looking like, like unaffected.
Yeah, it's
Very
just like
still
there.
unimpressed. Still
Yeah.
unimpressed.
Very stoked.
Still looking bored.
Oh, thank you, raffle twerk. Needed that.
Oh, here we go. GIF unleashed.
Actually, speaking of raffles, we have a little bit of a team internal debate right now on the raffle that I wanted to drop while we're talking about it. So let's see. Let me pull up.
Let's get to the bottom of this. No pun intended.
It's not easy, guys. All right, so I'll do a screenshot. So right here's I'll do two images here. It's gonna take a second to set up here. Maybe Jesse, you can explain while I'm setting this up.
Yeah, so just, we're doing all the 3D wearables, and technically Pet Slot is a wearable, but the raffle is a character. It's a very important character, and so we've done a lot of iterating, like a lot. And it's come a long way. I think the raffle is super, super close, but there's a kind of couple ways to go with it. So just show you guys a few potential approaches here to the 3D model of a raffle. And we've worked through every part of the anatomy, from the legs to does it have webbed toes or not, to the eyes, to the skin and the texture. I think what you're referring to here, this is about the mouth, right?
It's the posture. Here we go. So there's two images. There's actually four, but there's two raffles. So the left and the right. So if you like the left one, give it a heart. If you like the right one, give it a fireball. Here we go. You have to you'll open it. The main differences are just the posture, and also the mouth on the right one goes like all the way back, which is something we may be able to, we haven't seen that on the first one yet. We might be able to play with that a little bit more. But it's mainly like the posture and kind of the eyeballs and stuff. So very curious what people think and why.
Yeah, take your time, kind of look at them. I mean,
I'll show you the ignore kind of the shine, because that's stuff we can always add back and stuff. But here's what it looked like. I think here's what it kind of looks like right now in like Gotchi Guardians. And we just thought it was kind of, it looked like it had like old man posture, and it looked kind of fat. So I was like, you know,
Raffle.
It's like sit up straight, Raffle. So that's where the first one came in. We were like, let's make it look a little bit more up, like better posture, sitting up straight. Nice arch in the back.
They had worked so hard on the front, but they'd kind of neglected the side view. We caught it. We were like, guys, this thing's looking rough.
This Gotchi, this Raffle needs some Ozempic, like the Raffle version of it.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and I'll say I like the left. And my reason is because the legs have more of a shape and definition. They look more cute.
Mm-hmm.
And the right one, the legs look kind of molded together and kind of less like shapeless almost a little bit. I like the left. I like the left because of that. The legs have more like definition to them. That Raffle's been working out.
That's the legs. Yeah, the other one's got kind of fatter legs. They rub together. Looks uncomfortable. Yeah, it does look like the left one's winning out here. I just scrolled up a bit. To me, texture-wise, I will say I like the left one. The skin, the eyelid
It's a bit
has
smoother.
Definition.
Yeah.
The other one looks like it would fit in a certain type of game. Like it could totally work, that style, but
Yeah, texture is something we can play with. It's more about getting the shape right first and making sure we're really happy with that one.
yeah, shape-wise, I think the mouth on the left one does have room for improvement, though.
Yeah.
Like, as a Z-Bot's comment, it should be able to stretch further back, and I think that is the one thing. On the right one is more accurate to the pixel version, that's for sure.
I see
Yeah,
Marcus
for sure.
commenting on the lips as well there on the left.
Right, looks cuter in the lips. Going back looks way better. Left looks like duck lips. Yeah, so I think, I mean, in the original Raffle, that's what I said. Like I think we might be able to use the posture of left with the lips of the right.
Yeah, that might be best of both worlds.
Yeah,
It's
somewhere in the
more
middle.
pet-like. That one on the left, after you said that, Hefe, I'm like, yeah, it kind of is sitting upright. It actually looks like a pet.
Yeah, the other one looks like, it kind of looks just formless to me. Like it looks shapeless almost. Doesn't really look very like dynamic or like it's like something that you would expect to be moving about. The other one's like out of tension, like it's ready to jump, it's ready to pounce. Like,
Now, was it 1 week ago we were here and the zombie Raffle accident came out?
oh yeah. That's the expression. He's twerking with the zombie.
No
The
pupils.
zombie eyes.
Oh man.
I do feel like the Raffle on the right wouldn't have the twerk capacity as the one on the left. So maybe if there's a marriage of eyelids and lips, but you keep the booty, then we get the full thing, you know?
Yeah, definitely the left one's got more booty, for sure.
Marriage of
Working out.
eyelids and lips, but you keep the booty.
Yeah.
That's a phrase, man. We got to keep that.
That's on my Tinder profile right there.
All right. Well, let's see. So the final votes here, 20-8. All right.
2-1.
1.
But I think no matter what, there's another draft, another pass needed for the final version. We're getting close.
It's an iconic pet, so it makes sense to spend some time on it.
Yeah. that we're spending way more time on this than the others. I mean, everything's getting a good treatment, but we got to make sure Raffle's like the second most important asset. Like there's the Gotchi, and we got to get Raffle right.
Yeah.
Immaterial. Maybe we can make the lips a little less bucky. We can play a little bit more with the lips if that's what you don't like.
Yeah,
They
I'm not
are-
a
they
fan
are a
of the
bit.
lips, but everything else is just more, like you were saying, like more distinct. The legs are there, the shape is there, but the lips could use some work. Uh,
All the 3D assets I've seen so far are looking pretty good. I really like the Foxy mask. That was really well done with all the polygonal kind of shapes.
Dude, that thing looks so good. That and the martini glass. Like I saw that and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, now that the glimpses, I know you guys showed off a few of those last week as well, so that was really
Yeah, they're
was a
coming in
treat.
fast. I mean, here's one, and now I mean they're in the game. If you go to Spirit Force, I think what they're doing is just loading. If like I don't have a sword, but I have the axe, so it loaded the sword in. I think they're using like categories or something to try and give you something that is approximate to what you have, if that wearable isn't like added yet. Not all of them are usable yet, but they're making good progress, as we said in the blog post. Here's the nail gun. Go through, and Jesse, you guys were working really hard on that Bitcoin guitar. Do you want to show that?
yeah, let me go get that one real quick.
I don't know if we actually have the final Gotchi version of it.
I don't have the full final one actually. It's
Maybe it's in
close.
Figma. Maybe I don't know if Zbot, if you have it. It's usually in the thread.
I think I have
You
the
guys
second
spent-
to last version.
Okay.
So basically, the story on that, it was looking good. It's you know a Fender Stratocaster basically, but the top headstock was empty, and just felt so like it felt like a generic knockoff Fender. So I was like, we got to put something up there. So let me see, I can drop that one in here. So it just adds a little personality, a little detail work. If anybody ever makes like a wearables display kit, you can zoom in on it and something like that. But yeah, it's a Gotchi guitar, custom font at the top.
I like the wood burning effect with the Gotchi guitar and that's cool.
Yeah, yeah, it's got a lot going on there. I think the this one might have arms. The final version, I think we went with the Gotchi with no arms. Zbot was heavily involved with this too, and I think it turned out just right. It's actually like Dan was saying, a lot of people involved. There it is. Zbot's got the close up. The calligraphy, the Gotchi guitar part. So that was even we had to rope in Stellar. Stellar contributed to this. So we've got Stellar, Zbot, Robson, myself all whittling away on this guitar.
I feel if there was a Gotchi museum, this would be in it. The
Yeah.
Gotchi Smithsonian.
I agree with Nadia. I really want this guitar. Like when we got done, I was like, oh no, I need it.
You can do that. Do we want gold for the BTC or orange?
I believe this orange, it was originally a light yellow, kind of goldish, but this orange fits the pixel perfect version, so it's pretty true to it.
Looks like BTC orange, right?
Yeah.
It looks like, but I asked because I have some gold leaf that I've been dying to use, so I could possibly do that.
Oh, you mean on a real life guitar?
Uh-huh.
Oh snap! Here we go.
But this won't be legendary because I'm only making one.
I was gonna say this will be the godlike one.
Yeah.
Oh, Dan, you just dropped the. I'm a big. Oh my God, did I just do that on purpose? I'm a big fan of this one.
The fan, the big
yeah, the
fan.
paper fan. It turned out really
Yeah.
nice. That one took some back and forth too, as well. Like to really understand the pixel version, like what
Yep.
exactly is going on?
Yeah,
Zebra
they
was-
started with I think we needed to get the actual references. Took a while. But yeah, this one's quite accurate to the pixels, I think. See any others? We do have we show one more. I think this one is a video. Where is it? The shirt, one of the shirts. I see we have a video, but it's also got the skateboard in it for some reason. I'll drop that. That'll be the last one. And these are coming in so quick now. But this is like the first step of the pipeline, because then Slama and his team also need to like integrate it into Unity, and that takes some time, and they also have to animate it as well in some cases. This is the half-wrecked shirt. We went with the pixels, like didn't change the text to like non-pixel text. So it looks pretty dope.
Yep. Zbot prepped that and got it pixel perfect. The llama corn's gonna look really good. That
Oh,
t-shirt's
yeah.
all pixel.
Oh, I see that one's approved too. Well, should we drop that one?
Ooh, that's a godlike, yeah?
Yeah.
Bring out the llama corn.
And the staff. The staff is also godlike, I believe, right? Staff of creation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a godlike. Oh, look at that.
It's actually got a lot to show off there.
Yeah, there's a lot of alpha here.
Got Hefe's hat is on there.
I'm just looking at that right now. That looks really good.
You were saying a couple weeks ago you wanted to see that, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I really like that. I love the colors on it and how you guys got the pattern on there. That fabric though, man, it's looking good. I'd imagine that fabric texture is takes quite a bit of like refining to get right.
Yeah, it's kind of like you had to get the t-shirt model done once, and that was the hardest part, is like just getting it right. It has little folds and stuff in the back, and then layering this stuff over is more fun.
Flame, I think it's got a bump map as well to make it actually pop.
Yeah, it looks like it does. They do everything in 3D mold. I don't think they do just like bitmap textures. But yeah, I haven't seen it in Unity yet.
Oh, I've got one I really like. I think I have to share it, and I'll just do the what I like about it is this back view. It shows a little bit of everything. No twerking though. And I think it's live, yeah, in SFA, right? You can go play if you've got the hazmat suit, and I think it's one of the champions. But that champ is looking great with the little gas nozzle, and then if you couple that with some of the other hand wearables, it's really nice. Let me drop it in. Good detail work.
Oh, look at that, the tank on the back. That's a nice detail.
You know, I really, really like how this one's come together. The twerking.
Yeah, this back looks awesome. Looks really nice. The uranium rod, the glow. Holy shit.
That's a loud Gotchi. Come walking down Gotchiverse lane, you'd be like, holy cow. Look at this guy.
He's ready to clean up.
I have never seen uranium on the market.
On the bazaar?
Yeah, dude. I'm looking.
Question.
I'm always looking. I never see uranium.
Someone has all 5. Just like I'm never
Probably.
selling.
We just started a nuclear reactor somewhere in the Gotchiverse. Oh, that's so good. Like, there's so much detail in things. The zipper, look at that.
Yeah, we know Be the Coin. We've been reaching out to Nifty Island pretty much every day now. There's no really blockers at this point. I think they're just being slow. It's kind of sad because they just like, then they launch like a new play to earn thing, like a community island drop or something, like in addition to what they were already doing. We're trying.
Yep, you guys can help. They hear everybody. Whatever channels you're in with them, apply pressure.
But you guys are cleaning up in the Nitro League.
Yeah.
Now we're talking to Charles. How are we doing in Nitro League, fam? Are we? I saw we're like top 10, top 20.
Yeah,
gonna get some
Gotchi was
Gotchi
live
cards.
streaming it, I think, too. Fourth. Crypto
Oh,
Green
nice.
saying, dang.
As long as we beat Kagi Jan, we got to beat
Yeah.
the Juice team.
Fuck yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd definitely talk some shit, DM him.
I saw there were some kind of bugs early on, but maybe we got those figured out. If Gotchi Bulls is around, I don't know if he's on yet. Yeah, he's been repping the Gotchi gang. Anyone else? Anyone else going hard?
I
Gotchi
raced,
Bulls,
man.
how are you? Yeah.
But like, it's buggy. Like when I'll turn, sometimes it'll lag while I'm turning. So I'll turn the other way and it won't register. And it'll keep turning me into a wall for a bit. I don't know. Might just be my internet though, to be fair.
Right.
Gotchi Bulls, man. Feel free to come up here. You don't have to type out.
Yeah, I was watching your YouTube stream earlier, playing a little bit of Spirit Force. And then I did want to shout out Immaterial. We got Gotchi Battler is doing amazing. You guys are in the last, the top 16 right now. We got another battle that's going to happen in just a moment. And these battles are getting pretty crazy. I've seen like, there was one that lasted like hundreds of moves, right? Ooh, 25 minutes.
Yeah, Battler's a lot of fun, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's dope.
We turned it into a whole thing at the Mafia, dude. We have like a channel called Battle Strats, and we've got Johnny, our mastermind, and he's just telling us like, we gave him all our wallets and he's like the addresses, and he just went through everything, and he's like, this is what we're doing. You send this here, you equip this Gotchi like this. I'm gonna send you these things, do this, and he's been ace. I think we've got a few teams now in the games coming up. It's wild, man. It's a lot of fun.
Immaterial says prediction polls for all 8 matches today. Feel free to come up and speak on your battler if you'd like. Tomorrow doing top 8, semifinals and finals at 3 p.m. UTC. Okay.
That's dope.
Dang, so the first tournament wraps up this weekend. We'll have some.
And this is only 10K. I
Toast?
mean,
Yeah.
imagine when like the competition. I'm curious to like, how does the competition get even wilder for a bigger prize pool, like, and potentially also having the Orium wearable renting online by then. Potentially, we are working on that right now. Is that going to make things even spicier than they are now?
I would imagine.
Or how do we see, like, how does this get even progressively, more intense with a bigger bounty on the line?
Well, I mean, if you're saying I can rent godlikes, then that's a huge game changer.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they've Orium gave us their PR. We've been reviewing it, gave a little bit of feedback just on like code cleanliness. So they took that and they've updated that. And so once that PR is live, then it's basically just updating the UI, which we've got some tickets in the backlog for. So we're hoping, I mean, they really want to have it live by ETH Denver, which I think is very, very doable. Like it's potentially the end of next sprint, which would be put us about the 10th of February, around that date, maybe more or less, if there's no issues with the code.
If that's the case, it'll make for a really good finale of the trilogy, because the second tournament is February 5 to 11, 30K.
Okay.
And then the big one, the 60K, starts February 19. So
Yeah, so I'm very confident it'll be done by the 19th, possibly by I guess it'd be the end of the next turn or the beginning, February 5th, probably pretty hard.
yeah,
Gotta make sure there's no like vulnerabilities in the code. But the code so far looks really good. Orium's done a fantastic job of writing like nice, clean code, and it's not easy. Like their code is a pretty tricky integration. So kudos to them and their dev. They wrote a ton of tests, made it easy for us to review.
Doing it right. And then Hernani from Orium and No Future, like especially Hernani will be like kind of dev relations at the ETH Denver, able to represent Aavegotchi DAO and hopefully onboard more devs.
Yeah, we're hoping to have a Biddle Cafe event for Biddle Week where Hernani's hopefully going to be there, and I'll be hanging out there as well. And devs during that week will be welcome to come by and check out the protocol, talk to Hernani about the technical side of things, and then I can just speak to the Gotchi gang and the community and getting involved. So it'll be interesting to see who comes through there.
And then we got respec potions as well. Have those been influential in Gotchi Battler at all so far? Do we have any numbers on how many respecs paid respecs we've seen so far?
Is the essence from the respecs, is that getting burned every time they do the 50 essence respec, or is that go to like the DAO or something?
I think it's going to the DAO directors like multi-sig, and I think it's assumed to basically be, it's going to the treasury. I don't think there's any plans for the DAO to use it, but they're not being burned. That's like 20 respect is like basically one Gotchi, right? Each Gotchi is 1,000. Pretty wild.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's just one game.
We'll see when more games come out, how you want to respec across games. That'll be interesting to see the meta there. If there's still one dominant type across many games, or if they'll be very specific like ways to gear your Gotchi for each game.
It's almost like different games should like try to make the most different possible metas just to force people to like have to respec.
Speaking of different games, I have updates. I'm gonna drop this right here.
Got some Mecha Gotchi sneak peeks here.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, let me edit this so that it's that VX Twitter thing.
I like what I'm reading here. Still a few upgrades to go. Destructible Gotchiverse map. That already has my attention.
Yeah, man. So the cockpit's a little unimaginative right now. That's the other thing. It's just a blank screen and like a not really interesting interior. And it's planned to be much more like involved. There's screens and like a space. Technically, you could like tab out and walk around if you wanted to. I wouldn't do that because you're probably going to get wrecked. But in the full game, the goal is that the mech will feel more like a mech simulator than you're just playing the game. But yeah, it's the Gotchiverse destructible map, dude. That's gonna be so tight. I'm so excited for that. I'm using some files, like assets that I had before from renders that we were making and things, and I'm putting together a map that's essentially like a city in each corner, and the Great Portal in the middle, and then kind of like empty expanse between them, and mountains surrounding the whole area, so you're fenced in. I mean, I'm taking a little liberty, obviously, with the Gotchiverse design. It's not canon, but that works with the lore because this area that they're in is technically a training simulator anyway, so it's not a big deal. But yeah, it's. I just played a few games. I played a couple of games with Goobs, and it was so much fun, even though it's like very much alpha. I have a whole bunch of upgrades that are happening in the next week, and then I think we're going to start alpha testing.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love if everything's blowing up around you, it's kind of like Godzilla versus King Kong kind of thing, right? Like the city's at
exactly, yeah,
mercy of these Mechagotchis. Very cool.
But for Gotchi traits, I'm not sure exactly how I want to do it yet. Like, because I thought I was going to go with our, like I was going to go with the trend and, energy is this and like speed or whatever, the same things. But if we're trying to aim for everyone to respec, then maybe I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll hurt or help the game. People might be like, "Oh man, I don't want to respec. Like, I'm not gonna play your game," but probably not.
Well, no, it shouldn't, right? They'll just have other Gotchis that have the specs.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
It's gonna be fun to watch for sure.
Please.
I'm really curious, like I'm looking forward to the kind of odd dichotomy of a very cute Aavegotchi sitting in the cockpit of one of these, like rather scary mecha.
You're gonna be able to like watch it in the cockpit, like moving.
I really
in
hope
the
so.
mech.
The goal is for it to be first person, so I don't know. Maybe you'll just see little hands, but the interior of the cockpit is going to be more. The aim is that the interior of the cockpit is going to be a little bit more detailed than the outside, so you can potentially put some reflective surfaces in there where you'd see the Gotchi.
For like trailers, it would be kind of cool to
smile for the camera.
Yeah, have him like
trailers.
in a trailer, something like that.
Yeah, trailers are totally different. Trailers, you're gonna see a whole bunch of stuff. The thing is, it's like my dreams for the trailers are way bigger than the time that I have available to make. So I might have to like slowly put them out. Basically, it won't come out at the beginning, but I don't know. It takes so long to render these things, man. Like I rendered a one image, and not an animation, with the wizard Gotchi on the shoulder of the mech, and like it's intense. I'll send it tomorrow. I'm AFK right now, but it took like 5 minutes to render a frame. So if you're rendering like a video, which is 24 frames per second, and you're doing, I don't know, like something involved like a minute and a half, that's a long time. And my PC would straight up explode if I tried to do something else at the same time. So it's like downtime, essentially.
Also wanted to bring up we did make a little bit of an alpha leak on Stratagotchi. Is Bin Laden in the house? Any updates on Stratagotchi? I know we're getting close to a potential kind of public alpha of that. I don't know if I see him in the audience though.
Playtest coming soon, right? January 31st or around then.
Yeah.
Super stoked for that.
Yeah, it's looking insane, by the way. He's made so many upgrades.
For the 31st, like, what are we gonna be doing? Still haven't like played it yet. Jesse, you've played it a few times.
Oh no, I haven't got to go hands-on. I just
No?
was talking with him, asking as many questions as I could to get alpha for the dev update. And let's see. I mean, it's pretty much everything he told me that was important. I just put into that dev update. So he said there's other stuff coming, but for this first demo, he's really nervous. Everybody take it easy on him, but he's really excited too. And B, it's really focused on the main principal core loop of just kind of there's a harvest somewhere, or maybe there's multiple harvests on the map, and you're kind of like looking for this. I think he called it loot. So you're like battling and finding, trying to locate this stuff at the same time. So it may not be super obvious where you need to initially go as a target, something to that effect. So having never played any of the games in this genre, I'm kind of like making it up here as I go, but it sounds really cool and it looks beautiful. I see Lagan in the chat now. Maybe he'll drop some knowledge for us.
Yeah, I love the aesthetic of his game. Very different take, like on aesthetics. The Gotchi.
Yeah.
Yeah, very detail oriented. Kind of reminds me of Gotchi Guardians in that sense, like the little animations, like everything helps reinforce like the good vibes. Oh no, he needs coffee. But
Yeah,
that's
wow.
coming quick.
Yeah, that's
He
coming
was
up
like
4
casual.
days.
He's like, "Oh yeah, and there's a play test coming." I was like, "When?" He's like, "Next week." I'm like, "What? Yeah, that has to go in the dev update." Almost didn't come. Almost didn't tell me.
Yeah, if you guys have anyone who's building a game, if you ever like have any updates that you want to make sure they get included in the blog post, definitely do reach out to us. Or if any important dates that you want to lock in, reach out and we'll get those on the calendar as well. The Discord calendar here is definitely getting more and more events on it. And Trax, we've started using like Atom Cal. Is that right? To try and just put all these things into a place where everyone can see them.
Yeah, I'm still kind of like getting familiar with AtomCal, but it is set up at this point. It is recording the events, and I would recommend people start using it as soon as it's live because Discord events are kind of crummy. If an event is running for a long time, it keeps the first event that went live as the top thing, and you don't see anything else. So you miss a bunch of things.
Yeah, there's probably like a plugin for that for web too. So once we get a full calendar going, we can feature that on the DApp as well. Have a nice like central place where people can see everything that's happening. So if it's like, I think it could be used for cool things like fake auctions as well. Maybe that'd be a separate calendar, but it'd be cool to see all the different like activities that people are planning in the community.
Yeah, I mean, if we want to do something like that, then potentially it might even be easier to do it ourselves. Like have something that takes data directly from our sources, and just you can even do notifications and things like that. That would be cool.
Yeah. Well, we talked about a lot of games. Has anyone jumped into the new Spirit Force version? Had a little volatility with some of the wallet stuff, but it seems like all that is generally sorted out once we moved away from Mumbai. But there are quite a few updates in the game, and there's also a lot of stuff that's kind of demo only for this version, and basically is kind of placeholder for the next version, which is going to be the main game, which is going to have all the bells and whistles. So like all the player profile, buying stuff in the shop, the badges, all that is done in the UI, and now we're just hooking it up. So if you go through the game and you're like, why are there all these like badges that I don't own yet? That's just because it's placeholder. But I was playing it earlier. I think it's definitely improved a lot on where it was a month ago. I was having a good time killing some AI bots. Wish they could be a little bit smarter and like come and find me at the top levels. But I was enjoying. They're pretty strong actually. they were clobbering me a bit.
Yeah, I guess
And
it's good for it's basically practice mode when you put them in there. It's a good way to find your feet, so to speak. Yeah, the bots will gang up on you. But if you go up high, I found like I could hang out and be pretty safe. Like they didn't seem to hunt for me up there. They don't really know how to hunt. Not yet, anyway.
And Gotchi Bulls, I was able to play as Coder Dan, and I saw your stream. You were trying to play as your Gotchi. I'm not totally sure what's going on there because I definitely was able to log in with my main account and play as Coder Dan. But if I know they did push an update about 4 or 5 hours ago. So maybe just restarting the app would fix that. Oh, Soju, like in the twerk. I imagine that's gonna find its way into some art very soon here.
Now you gotta make that a feature in the arena so you can make your raffle twerk like with a hotkey.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like our version of teabagging, right?
Oh yeah, Idris. I don't know if the guy from Idris is in the audience, but Idris is live. They are allowing people to tip Ghost on Twitter and also on Twitch. So if you're watching someone, you can tip them Ghost. Pretty dope. Goobs, do you have a tweet or something from them? Basically, to get activated on that, I think you have to do something on like X, post a verification tweet or something,
Yeah,
and then you'll get a badge. Yeah.
They have a tweet here. Oh, there you go. Goop's got it. Yeah, super great feature here. Because on Twitch you'll be able to tip in Ghost as well as on X now. So Spaces hosts and Twitch streamers.
That's super cool. Every time, if you guys are watching a Twitch streamer, be like, I would love to tip you, but you don't have Ghost support yet. They'll be like, what are you talking about? Like, I want to give you $10. Go get Ghost support.
Yeah, pretty easy to sign up to get your green badge now, and it used to be a fee that they would charge, but I think they waived it completely. So all you need to do is pay for your Matic gas, whatever, a couple cents, and then you're good. You're set.
Is it Matic? Is it gas per tip, or is it only once?
I don't think the tipping's gasless. I think you still need to pay.
Oh, really? It does cost. Oh man, it does cost gas. That's tough. Lens did it too, and nobody was tipped. Yeah, I mean it's definitely. I think it's a cool feature. Not every cool feature, does get big though. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort to make these things like more mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all seeing this video Laggin just shared a minute ago? It's pretty good 4 seconds.
That looks nuts.
Yeah. I guess that's the kickoff of the match, right? That's the map loading.
Oh, that's cool.
That's very, very detailed. Very, very nice attention to detail there. And really well executed.
I just want to bring focus to one thing real quick before we go into the DAOur here. Speaking of attention to detail, holy shit, this new Guardians map. People are asking like when next level. They've been planning this for probably at least 3 months. They've been talking about this Mount Oomph map.
Yeah, and there's
Got
there's
Mount
a,
Oomph.
a lot of iterations to get to something this nice. That doesn't just like plop out. It's like
Yeah,
a lot.
this will be the new map. There'll be more pathing, I think, and there's gonna, from what I've heard, there's gonna be like some lava and stuff that's like kind of flowing dynamically through the map, which is gonna definitely change strategy. Similar to the bridge, but a little bit more intense.
I'm loving this new map.
Yeah, it almost looks like Dan, you mentioned it looks like jade. I agree. I hope it is jade. Like
Yeah,
jade and lava. That's a good combo.
jade and lava
Materials.
Looks, the colors are gorgeous. That green, it almost looks like dragon. I don't know what it's supposed to be, like dragon scales, I guess. Dragon claw, dragon teeth.
Yeah, it might
but
be.
but then
'Cause
there's
there's definitely some.
Fomosaurus because it's not a dragon.
Yeah, good old Fomosaurus. Yeah, it's gonna be great. I can't wait to play on this map. But they're busy, like the update said, they're kind of focused on um, just having the next build about a month from now. And I don't know if this map will be in there, but it might be. But there's some other big ticket things they have to get in there for really just pinning down the whole game loop experience. Like it's so close right now when you play Prong Meadow, but the end game stuff like that has some room, and that's where the tier 2 builds come in. So they're going to start introducing some
Sus nest.
more in-game builds. Yeah, what
Guys,
are
there's
the
so much
sus
alpha
nests?
in this blog post. Please, if you haven't read this blog post, like honestly, do yourself a favor. Like there's so much covered in this thing. It's pretty insane. This is where a lot of this is the most up-to-date information. Yeah. And then Lickies. Do you want to say anything about Lickies here, Golden Cross, before we head to the DAOur?
Just like it said, we're submitting to Apple, and fingers crossed, guys, we'll be playing Lickies in February, full version, and Thrax, he helped with some of the testing and getting the trailer ready, so he's got to have early access to all 5 worlds, all 120 puzzles, and I don't know, Thrax, what do you think? You want to give a quick sneak preview? What was your impression?
Yeah, first of all, my first playthrough, I didn't know there were more levels. There's like hidden levels if you do well enough. So I found that out kind of the hard way. Stellar was just like, hey, how do we do this? And I'm like, I've never seen that level. How'd you get there? He's like, that's S9. I'm like, S? What the hell are you on about? So I had to go back and play those. But yeah, no, the game is so much fun. It's so intuitive. It's so easy to pick up. My nephew was actually playing it not long ago, and because I didn't want to play the first world again. I played it so many times, so I got him to unlock the first world for me, basically. And I asked him his opinion, like, was it easy? Was it something like you want to play like the whole thing? And he's like, yeah. When is it coming out? And his dad just looked at me like, more games, man, because he plays a lot of tech. He's always playing video games, so I'm kind of exacerbating the problem. But yeah, it's so much fun. Like, here's a picture of him playing, actually.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I think it's going to be appealing to all ages, but if you've got kids in the family and stuff, they're gonna definitely have a good time with this.
The thing is, like, the later levels are hard, man. He wouldn't have been able to do them.
Yeah, it's true. It gets tough.
Playing on the iPad.
I don't know. Kids are gamers. Honestly, I don't think so, man.
No?
No. I played on my iPhone and my iPad, and I feel like the iPhone, you get like I don't know, kind of you know where things are better. You know where your thumbs are on the screen, so you don't have to look so much where you're clicking. You know where the magnets are. You like look, reference, and then you click. But the iPad, you have to like look where you're clicking. So if you're trying to do
Right.
multi-touch stuff, it gets hard.
That's interesting. Yeah.
There's a lot of like multi-touch where it's almost like dexterity or speed involved. Not all the
Mhm.
levels. Those levels are the ones that like make me nervous when I'm playing them. Otherwise, it's like such a chill game. But once in a while, there's like a level that requires you to like do something fast. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah,
Reaction
buckle up.
time is slow.
Dude, there's one that's like there's like lasers at the bottom, and you have to pop
Yeah.
the bubble, and then
Yeah, yeah.
it drops and catches the like you get the keys or what the gems, sorry, and then you have to catch the bubble with a different thingy,
Yeah,
a different
that
magnet.
level's
Oh
quite
man,
fun.
it's so nerve-wracking, dude.
It is.
Like I have so much footage of me just fucking up over and over and over and over.
Me too. I was playing that on a plane. I spent like half the plane like on that level, and then the another level that was really really hard.
There's one S9, dude. You gotta find that one. Like it's horrifying. It's just like a box of lasers, and you have to like navigate your way around. And like you can get that one. I didn't even get the essence in that level. I just got to the exit. I'm like, let me out, man. I don't want this. Like I don't want the reward for this one. If I can escape with my life, I'm happy.
I'm not sure I've played the S levels yet. I'll have
Oh,
to
they're the
check.
best ones, man. They're the most infuriating, but you feel so much like pride at like accomplishment when they're done.
Yeah.
Awesome. That sounds like a pretty good review. So yeah, can't wait to get it out to everybody. And like I said, we're there. Like we kind of all did the toast at the end of last week. So we're all right. Time to submit this thing. Yeah, it seemed to be a hit at Miami Art Basel too, especially with like the kids coming through. So very appealing. Get that Gotchi lore into everybody's hands. And, it should be a good time. But Hefe, I guess it's speaking of time, we're over the hour, right?
DAOur time. Yeah, if you guys are
Yeah,
ready to kick it off, let's do it. We can get into some proposals, and I've been putting tweets out starting this week. I'm going to be doing this on a weekly basis, so keep an eye out for tweets for your DAO call and keeping people updated. Here, let me post the link here one more time. And that should be a high-level view of everything we're going to discuss. And if you want to be on this announcement for your project or whatever, try and get at me or Thrax by Wednesday, and then I work together with Thrax. We put it together and we'll get it up on Twitter. Also working on getting the Aavegotchi DAO account going, so then we can also have communication through Aavegotchi DAO official as well. So here it is, friends. Have everything outlined here for the week, and we'll start with our usual proposal review, and then we'll dive into it. We got a packed meeting today, so we'll try and be good with our time and cover as much as we can. So let's see here. I'll share my screen. All right. Oh, okay. Soju, 1 second. We'll pause here for Soju. Before DAOur begins, please enjoy this Raffle Squish fake I'm working on. It's looking good, man. I like the color change. That's cool. Texture. I'd imagine Raffles would be bouncy. Like if they didn't have legs or arms or anything, they would probably have this kind of, yeah. Needs more twerk. You got to get that backside. You got to capture that backside.
Oh god. Yeah, as it's going, like it plops on the ground. A little bit of twerk action.
Yeah, exactly. Max twerk.
That's a great piece. Very cool.
Yeah, very well done. Looking forward to that fake. He's actually, I'm hoping to see a Soju Ralph Sapien in the fake rares collection. We're working on, he's working on getting his submission in there, and I've been kind of helping him with the process of that. And hopefully we see a fake rare. That would be the second Aavegotchi themed fake rare in like the fake rare collection, which is really cool. But yeah, well, I'm looking forward to that, and yeah, it'll be good. Yeah. Okay, friends, let's get right into this into the proposal review here. And we'll start with Agap 105 that ended just 5 days ago. And so Agap 105, we actually just signed the transaction for that. Made the announcement on Twitter for that. Supply 3.5 million treasury DAI to Aave. And we'll be earning some yield from this. So the DAO will actually be earning average of 4.34%. And last week when we were looking at this, I think the yield was like way higher too. It was like 15% or something. But we'll see. We'll see what the average yield works out to be over time. We could probably expect something around 4.3%, which is around 154,000 USD for the DAO in revenue. Very cool. And so this one was written by Dr. Wagme. The signing's already been done. And some of the benefits here for the DAO will be passive income, some flexibility, some market optimism there, and, of course, diversifying our treasury a little bit, making it work for us. And then, some of the risks that we did acknowledge would be we're dealing with Aave here, so we're relying on the Aave ecosystem and, its smart contracts being stable. And also maybe some potential liquidity constraints for the DAO if we deploy capital for other large projects or over time in general. And then market volatility. So maybe market fluctuations could affect the APR, as well as smart contract vulnerabilities that relates to Aave. So this proposal did pass. 68% of the DAO in favor of, 31% of the DAO not in favor of this proposal, and it met quorum with 10 million votes. So very cool.
And it's been deposited as of a few minutes ago.
Yeah. So now it's officially earning that interest. I'm curious to know what the APR is right now. If someone wants to have a look at that, that'd be awesome. And so, okay, next one here is the Aavegotchi Grants Program. This was put forward by myself, FIFO, National Bank, Crypto-Gotchi, and PG, and proposing to start a grants program for Aavegotchi DAO, funding small projects. And this was an interesting vote. When you look at the for and against, it's roughly 49% for and 50% against. And it looks like among the for votes, 163K was the more popular option. And of course, 50% saying do not fund. So almost split right down the middle. And this did meet quorum with 11 million votes. And so the whole idea of this was to have a kind of a nimble funding vehicle that would be made available to people coming to the project with really interesting ideas that were maybe required some seed funding or to develop a demo. And especially with Gotchi Chain coming out, could be helpful to have something for developers we meet across conferences, across events, Twitter Spaces, to have something to offer to them without having to go through a lengthy signal and core proposal process for every proposal. So that at the core is the core idea there. Very similar to other grants programs in other DAOs. And we're taking this vote here as 50-50. There's also been a lot of feedback on this. So I'll actually speak on this in a minute here. We'll get through the proposal review. And then I have some possible suggestions we've been thinking about to tweak the proposal, as well as a feedback form. So if you guys are interested in providing more quality feedback, we'd appreciate that. And ultimately, it's to the benefit of the DAO. So it should be something that the DAO thinks they want or need. So yeah, get to that in a second. And the next one up here is Aavegotchi DAO Liquidity Incentives Proposal by Ape Bond. 80% of the DAO voted no against this proposal, and 19% voted for this proposal, and it didn't meet quorum either. Now, that being said, maybe one of the team members from Ape Bond did reach out to me, and Monkey Biz, if you're on the call, you're welcome to come up during the call and speak on this proposal, because I don't think there was an opportunity to do that. So if you'd like to do that, we can get you up here. But the idea here, just the proposal summary, is to have it's a strategic incentive to allocate DAI from Aavegotchi DAO's liquidity wallet to bond into QuickSwap LPs through Ape Bond's bonding mechanism. So it's a different way of providing liquidity, I believe, via QuickSwap LP. And the idea here is to enhance the depth of the Ghost USDC liquidity pool. So this is a little bit beyond me. Like, I'll let their team speak to this and explain this. But let's run through the rest of these proposals here, and then we'll give them a chance to speak on that. Aavegotchi and Sandbox experience expansion and maintenance. So this is put forward by GFA. Many of y'all played the Ripples of the Gotchiverse, and I found it It was an enjoyable experience for me. And Pixelcraft has gone out. We've secured a fairly large estate of 9 parcels, where there'll be not only the Ripples of the Gotchiverse experience, but there'll also be a multiplayer experience, and I believe 4 spare parcels where you'll be able to, we will be able to, as a DAO, figure out, what things can be built there, whether it's future experiences and whatnot. So there's plenty of land there available for things like that. This proposal specifically is focused on maintenance of this experience, and of course, I believe part of this is to upgrade to the latest version of the game launcher, and some other. Here, let me read these here. Proposal funding. So management of project coordination, partnership management, experience updates. So they're managing the Aavegotchi parcels in Sandbox and collecting analysis of in-game and traffic data. Here we go. Upgrades and modifications of experiences due to Sandbox, new game maker, and game client release. And so I'll let you guys work through the details of this proposal, what exactly is going to be included. But the maintenance cost here for this upgrade or this stint is 29,460 DAI, and they have the deliverables outlined there, the subtasks. So you can have a look at that. And so far, it looks like we have 77% of the DAO in favor of this, 22% against. We're halfway to quorum. And the Gotchi Farming worked really hard to create this experience. They also actually delivered some sand to our treasury. So I believe there was, they mentioned it up here. 1 second here. 13,500 sand of token sales was generated from the experience, and 7,425 sand was sent to our treasury. So sand is it's 50 cents a token right now, so it doesn't sound like a lot, but if you look at the sand prices historically, especially holding some sand in the bull market, it could be a wise decision for our DAO to just hodl it, in my opinion. But it's there's been some revenue generated. They have some in-game numbers here as well for active visits and unique players. Yeah, and so I'll just have a look here at some of the comments here if there's stuff coming in. You judge a Polygon DeFi. We'll hear from Ape Bond soon. Okay, some people have different opinions on Sandbox. Dr. Wagme saying, I don't think we should fall for a sunk cost fallacy and assume we need to fund Sandbox experience forever. 6 months seems like a fair shot. If no one is playing experience, we should walk away. Yeah. At the same time, I think it'd be cool to have this experience hosted on the 9 parcels because we do own the land, and I believe that experience was just the experience, so it was temporary. But to have it persistent, you'd want to have it actually like uploaded to your with the latest game maker, but uploaded to your land. And I believe that's what they would be trying to do here as part of this proposal. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Have you get your votes in on that one, friends? And you have 1 week on that one. So that wraps up our proposal review. And with that being said, we also have Ape Bond team up here, and we're going to speak on some DAO Treasury incentives. And I'm kind of curious to know more about this bonding mechanism and how it works. So with that being said, let me stop streaming and welcome Monkey Biz.
Hey guys, thanks for the invitation. Really nice to be here.
You say Julian's going to be joining you on the call as well. He's welcome to come up as well if you'd like.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, just to kind of set the stage here, we initiated this conversation with Maxi. Just kind of through that, just had a discussion on what would be best to kind of move forward. We brought up the proposal, or at least the conversation to be had, but it didn't get a lot of attraction. And so we thought, hey, let's just throw it into a vote and see what the community says, and to spark a conversation around it. So that's kind of where we are right now. It was really actually nice to get some feedback, just to see where people's heads at and see maybe if there's any confusion, if there was something with our proposal that we could change or adjust, because we really want to be open and listen to the community on this to make sure that we're following through on what they're looking to do. But yeah, the mechanism can take a couple steps to kind of understand and look, but we want to be as clear as possible with this. So yeah, wanted to come and chat with everyone about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So at a high level, like what is this like bonding mechanism attempting to do? It sounds like to me, from my perception of it, it's providing liquidity for the Ghost USDC pool on QuickSwap, right? Or
I can jump in here. Actually, happy to jump in. My name is Julian. For those who might not know me, I don't think I've had the chance to meet too many people. I know Monkey Biz has been kind of driving most of the conversations with the DAO here. So great to meet everyone. I'm actually the head of BD over at Ape Bond. And yeah, just for a bit more context on the bonds themselves, I mean, exactly that, right? Essentially, it's a way to not only build liquidity in a more sustainable manner, but also diversify treasury assets into blue chip stable coins, or essentially anything else that DAO could need. And just for a bit more context on Ape Bond as well, we actually launched as Ape Swap we're about to celebrate our 3-year anniversary here in about a month. So about 3 years ago in February 2021, we were originally a DEX on BNB chain, on Polygon, and a few other places. That was like our core offering, I'd say our bread and butter. At that time, during the last bull cycle, we hit about 700 mil in TVL, about 1.2 million monthly active users. But obviously, sustaining a DEX was not the easiest thing, I would say, at that time. And the market conditions were very, very different. But since then, we've explored quite a few other things. And about 2 years ago, we settled on a bonding product, just because being a DEX, we've worked with at the time about 250 projects, and I mean, so many of our partners came and went just because of how unsustainably they leveraged their liquidity. What I mean by that is, at the time especially, yield farming was one of the most prevalent things in our industry. And if you think about it, at the end of the day, you're really just giving away rewards for temporary liquidity in exchange for, at the end of the day, no real tangible return. And so as a DEX, we were very, very close to this problem. And that's kind of how, we looked into bonding as a potential solution for this, not only for ourselves, but for partners as well. And the more we kind of leveraged the expertise that we had gathered from running a DEX and applied it to bonding and the analysis that we did for the partners that we worked with, and just applied that to advising them on how to build bonds sustainably and how to build that liquidity and then start diversifying their assets, we realized it was something that was just massively needed in the space, as there's just a serious misunderstanding of the need of liquidity on chain, misunderstanding of the dynamic between token emissions, inflation, things like that, that overall just allowed us to find really great product market fit. We've done over $8 million so far in bonded value in the past couple of years. And, as of late have essentially rebranded and fully migrated into 8bond, which is now, our new kind of bonding first identity. So I don't want to
that gives a
take
good
too much
idea.
time there, but
that gives just a high level view for like people like myself. I don't fully understand this stuff, but it makes sense what you're saying. But we are, at the same time, we are having another conversation in the DAO about, and we'll speak on this in a bit here, is DAO funded liquidity on major sexes on centralized exchanges, where we want to provide more liquidity for people coming in through those avenues. Did you guys see? Was there a issue with like decentralized liquidity regarding Ghost token, especially on QuickSwap? The DAO members can speak to this as well. But is there a need right now in terms of like liquidity for DEXs, specifically QuickSwap and the Ghost token? Is something I'm curious about.
Great question. Yeah, great question. And this is where, in our experience, there hasn't been essentially a standard set in the industry, right? Most organizations are kind of just doing what feels right based on their market cap, their treasury, et cetera, et cetera. And so what we're looking to do essentially is set that industry standard for the amount of liquidity a project should have relative to their market cap, relative to their daily volume, relative to all the factors that make trading environment important, right? And so that's kind of what we've done. We've created what we call the liquidity health dashboard. TLDR, it essentially rates projects based on the level of liquidity that they have on chain, again, relative to their market cap and a few other factors. And I can share more information on that after the call as well. Definitely encourage everyone to check that out. But essentially that kind of analysis has identified that Ghost is lacking about I think the last time we checked, it was 1.2 mil in on-chain liquidity. And obviously, there's arguments for, arguments against, and, people could say that it's been fine with this amount of liquidity, but essentially what we've found is just projects overall tend to perform better when they're at that kind of, and it scales and depends on the amount of market cap and other things as well. But once you hit that kind of right amount of liquidity, you're in a much better spot. And there could be too much as well. So we've actually coined terms for this. There's what we call liquidity debt and liquidity surplus. In this case, there's a liquidity debt. There could be a liquidity surplus as well, but this is specifically on-chain. On the centralized side of things is a bit different. And on that side, I wouldn't say we're placing too much emphasis, at least internally at the moment. We're really just focused on the on-chain side of things. But yeah.
Okay. I'm seeing some questions from DAO members here. Question from Al for ApeSwap. If the goal is protocol-owned liquidity, why would we not add more liquidity internally instead of paying LPers from our treasury like you guys are suggesting?
Great question. Yeah, and this is originally, one of the things that we had even asked ourselves. But historically, we actually did a bond recently. It was not so recent, but maybe 6 months ago. We did a bond with Chain Guardians. We did a few bonds with Chain Guardians, and they actually wanted to use DAI from their treasury in order to get the LPs. We didn't think much of it. We thought, whatever, it'll create more events for their community and just be more engaging overall. But what we ended up seeing is the return on the emissions that they put out in DAI was so high that it actually outpaced the slippage that they would have incurred if they had just used the stables directly to buy the tokens. So the end result was, we saw a better return on the actual DAI investment. We saw awesome community engagement. Their community is really excited about being able to buy the bonds. And then they actually ended up on one of the bond sales, they tied an in-game NFT. I don't remember exactly what it was, but they tied something in-game back to the buying of the bonds themselves. And they ended up getting 122% return on that bond sale. So if we, there's kind of creative ways that we can shift the bond sales or add on to the bond sales to get an actual positive return, at which point, getting a 122% return on that DAI is a lot more favorable than just buying the token straight up in the open market and adding liquidity directly.
Okay, yeah, interesting. I also see a comment here from Lovegotchi. Almost feels like this LP providing should be approached after Gotchi chain is live, especially for switching to using ETH. So just a member here mentioning that we're going to be launching Gotchi chain soon. Maybe this is a further discussion to be continued in the forums. But yeah, my suggestion would be, now that this proposal, you guys have got the results from the proposal, to take this into the forum and see if there's if there's something missing, or changes you might need to make, or if this is something that DAO doesn't really want at all, and then go from there, I would say.
Is the
Awesome.
DAO still doing like regular conversions of the DAI into Ghost? We were doing quite heavy swaps back last year, but which I think that would have been potentially an interesting time to do this kind of like bonding product. But I think we still are. Yes, Arlinkia says we are, but they're definitely smaller than they were before. So I don't see much difference between that swapping process and the bond process, except for the fact that it would just get automatically added into a liquidity pool. That's the main difference, I think.
It would, exactly. I mean, there's a few differences, and definitely happy to get into them more on the forums and such. But yeah, the main thing I'll leave you guys with is essentially this would be a proposal for kind of a phase one, more of like a trial of sorts. And then obviously, depending on the success of that trial, there'd be a follow-up proposal to bond a more significant amount and kind of get the rest of that liquidity debt closed. But awesome, guys. Really appreciate the time to chat through this and answer some questions. We'll definitely circle back in the forums, and hope to get some more feedback so we can get this resubmitted.
Yeah, awesome.
Thanks for engaging.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Cheers.
All right. Well, with that being said, Coder Dan, I know we have some things to discuss here. I'll let you kind of. I think I put down 3 topics. I put down Ghost Staking 2.0, funding major liquidity on the centralized exchanges, and then rethinking Aavegotchi borrow lending. So we can either take on all 3, or whatever you guys feel like taking on there.
Yeah, sure. So I'll start with Ghost Staking 2.0. Obviously, there was a lot of feedback from the original proposal. I'm not going to go over that entire proposal again, but I will link to it here if you haven't read it. It's just start from the beginning of this thread, and you'll get the TLDR. But yeah, we took a lot of the feedback community gave about the proposal. Basically honed in on the fact that that it didn't seem like there's too much willingness to move to more of an ETH model, and so we took that feedback and basically started looking at the different other staking options that on the market. Someone mentioned IMX, which I had initially, when we were thinking of the staking and how we could do Ghost Staking 2.0. Obviously, staking is a very tricky thing to do properly, because it involves concerns about the token being giving a yield, being a security, and things like that. So single staking is definitely a very tricky thing to do, and got me just looking at IMX. I just thinking like, how are they getting away with this? How are they doing this? Because they are doing a single staking program with IMX, and I honestly I would prefer to be able to do a single staking program with Ghost. I think that would be really cool. That was initially what we wanted to do. But the Ghost LP and having to do have Ghost and ETH together was kind of a requirement, because we didn't think we could do a single staking Ghost. But looking at the IMX staking product, they do have this part that requires active participation, and I think legally speaking, that's what separates them from basically helps distinguish them from not being a security. So all of this, we're going to have to clear this with legal, and there is gray zone. So, in crypto, there's like no clear answers on anything, but we're thinking if we do add a lot of active participation, such as to qualify for the staking rewards, you would have to play games, like be part of our gaming ecosystem, or do trading like they do on IMX. Potentially, we could just go with a single ghost staking model where basically all the trading on Gotchi chain would still be denominated in Ghost. The gas token would still be Ghost. People could potentially trade from ETH. They could buy items in our bazaar with ETH, and it would be converted to Ghost. But we would have to have a Ghost ETH pair on Gotchi chain to be able to do that atomically. And then there was an interesting idea about sequencer fees. Those would also be paid in Ghost, so there could be definitely some yield paid to stakers that come from the sequencer fees as well. I think that'd be pretty interesting. So the current update I have on Ghost staking really is that if it's possible, legally speaking, and it's not going to invite massive amounts of trouble, legally speaking, we would love to do Ghost, single staking Ghost, and we're going to explore that option first more fully before we continue exploring the other option, which was like the Ghost ETH LP option. Because I think Hardcore had a great point. Like with the LPs, you always have to compound. If you're trying to compound as a staker, you have to sell part of your Ghost into ETH to be able to continue compounding your stake, which is definitely, it's a market negative activity. We would prefer not to have that. So that's why Ghost single staking is definitely kind of superior. But without the LPs, we are, of course, potentially going to have less liquidity for Ghost ETH pair if that is something we think we want on Gotchi chain. But of course, we also do have the Glitter staking program, which would probably also be deployed on the Gotchi chain and which is supporting the Ghost ETH. So it's not like we would have zero liquidity. We would just have the Glitter staking program. Yeah, so Al, great point. How do we incentivize LPers? It honestly doesn't make sense to me to reward solo stakers higher than LPers or LPers, not at all. Well, Glitter staking is already incentivizing LPs, and I think one of the goals of Ghost staking is to continue adding more utility for Glitter. So whether it's the lockup mechanic that we were talking about in the initial proposal, or we're also looking at how IMX is doing it with their cycles, and potentially having some sort of multiplier that you could receive for spending glitter or burning glitter or doing something with glitter within that cycle to then give yourself a multiplier in that cycle. So I think giving value in multiple ways to glitter will also increase the overall liquidity because there will be more incentive to earn glitter. So let me look at the comments here. Yeah, so I'm going to basically floating this idea here in this chat, and then we'll follow up with we're going to have some more calls with legal and just see what's the situation with IMX. Why are they able to do this in a compliant way? I think it does hinge on this idea of active participation. So if single staking is something that the Aavegotchi DAO is interested in, we'll keep pursuing that. Otherwise, we will probably just continue looking at the LP model. But the LP model does introduce some friction for sure. So let me check the questions here. Most single stake yields I have are on Bridges, Stargate, Umbria. Is there a gigabrain way to tether the single stake Ghost for the Gotchi chain bridge? Not totally sure what that means. But yeah, single staking is fairly common. Like I think Chainlink has it. and now and the other one is IMX has a single staking program. There's a couple out there.
Yeah, Chainlink.
Does an IMX use Polygon ZK EVM? Yes, it does. What do you get for single staking? You would be staking Ghost, and you would be rewarded in Ghost. And if there's glitter used in that staking round, you would also receive glitter as well. Because the main comments in the last proposal were people not comfortable removing Ghost as one of the main underlying tokens for the bazaar, and there didn't seem to be a major concern about receiving Ghost for staking Ghost and ETH. That seemed to be the preference of most of the comments that we received on the previous proposal, as opposed to receiving something like ETH as the yield. Because if we want to offer ETH as yield, we need to kind of restructure how the bazaar is currently. We would want to make the main unit of currency ETH. And also, for example, if we wanted to add in sequencer fees, that wouldn't really be very possible with how, because everything is denominated in Ghost. So we'd either have to just pay rewards in Ghost, or we'd have to sell Ghost for ETH, which obviously isn't an option really. Is the marketplace being designed to be just in Ghost or Ghost and ETH? So that's really, a lot of that depends on how we choose to proceed with the staking program. If it's a single staking system, then I think everything would just be denominated in Ghost. We would give people the option, if possible, to be able to basically convert their ETH to Ghost atomically when they do a bazaar purchase. And yeah, it would just be, if we did the other model that we talked about before, I still think the preference would be to put it in ETH, just so people can easily bridge over and have ETH on the chain, be able to buy stuff with it. But yeah, if we go single staking, there's no need to denominate it in ETH. But there would be the issue with, like I said, yield being paid in ETH for sequencer fees. Is Ghost needed to stake for Gotchi chain validators? So the way that the Polygon CDK and most of these rollups work, they do not have validators. So we can't do like a node sale or a validator staking as we were originally intending to do with the SuperNet model, because they don't have them. They only have a sequencer, and it's very, very early in the decentralized sequencer narrative. I think probably late 2024, maybe 2025, there will be more work done in decentralized sequencers. But at this moment, there's one centralized sequencer that basically is processing transactions on the chain. So you can't really, that's one of the reasons where we were considering potentially using the yield from that sequencer, and probably Pixelcraft would receive a part of that, because we're essentially maintaining the sequencer, but there could also be a portion that goes either to the DAO or to the stakers. When whitelist for bazaar listing? I don't know quite what that means. Like, only certain wallets can list in the bazaar. Where does the staking reward Ghost come from? Currently, the main source of yield would be trading fees from the bazaar. I mean, if this is all mentioned in the original proposal, trading fees from the bazaar, and if there's any other additional yield, I think Dr. Wagme was saying potentially we could redirect some of the yield from things like the staked DAI, staked ETH, things like that, and also potentially sequencer fees. So I'm any comments so far on this updated these ideas? Obviously, we will need to run by this proposal by legal and see. They're probably going to, we'll see what they say on this. But obviously, there is a model in production. IMX is like a almost top 100 token. So there is precedent for a form of single staking on this scale. So, which is what kind of piqued our interest. But I'm actually staking IMX right now. I haven't done it before. Is anyone here actually participating in their staking program? Because I'm wondering, at the end of the cycle, do they unstake everyone, or do they? Does your principal remain staked the whole time, and you just compound it?
Like Light Piglet has an answer for us.
Let me check. Because we're wondering, that could also, if you have to restake it every time, every cycle, that would also, lend more evidence to the fact that it is active. It's not a passive activity.
Yeah, their cycles are only 14 days, right?
Yeah. But I definitely see a role for glitter in this staking program. We just have, if we went with like a cycle method, then yeah, there could be some sort of multiplier. I think that would be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll keep this discussion going in Ghost Staking 2.0, and probably middle or late next week, I'll be adding an update into that channel.
Awesome.
Hefe, you've got quite a few things left on the agenda, right? We've got
So yeah, basically we covered ghost staking. We can discuss maybe if you'd like DAO funded liquidity on sexes on the centralized exchanges, and then rethinking the borrow limit for Aavegotchi lending was another thread. I know Coder Dan started. After that, all we have left is I want to speak to the Aavegotchi grants program and kind of some suggested and also things that we've been brainstorming on how we could refine, and then drop a feedback form. So that's kind of what we have left for the rest of the meeting.
Okay, great. Then I will keep it pretty short again, just to make sure everybody else has room for the other topics. But in terms of updates regarding a market maker for improving liquidity across some of the centralized exchanges, I think I'll be putting out like a new proposal or a reworked one for Skynet. That seems to be the way that the best option of after reconsidering everything else out there. We talked to 4 other market makers over the last 2 weeks, and it's always interesting talking to them and comparing different offers. But at the end of the day, Skynet's offer is the most flexible. They have the advantage of a year's worth of transparent, good sound work with Pixelcraft, and their deal is 600K with a 600K loan and support across Coinbase, Binance, OKX, and Huobi, and that's a big improvement from what we're currently doing with them, which is just Coinbase, and they've done a good job with Coinbase. I do want to give a shout out to Al. I think Al's here. He was here earlier. He actually made a connection with Flowdesk, and I did have a call with them, and it was very interesting. I will say, I learned a lot on that call in terms of they have a very different model from all the other major market makers. All the others are doing a loan. You give a loan, and then they use that loan to market make on your behalf. In their case, they have like a retainer fee. So you basically like pay per pair per market you want to be in, per pair per exchange, and it's more like a subscription per month. And then they just do the job, and it's supposed to better align incentives, and maybe it does work for some. It certainly They've had a great 3 years and are very competitive with the other market makers. But in our case, I don't see that changing the landscape in any significant way. And it would cost more than the 600K loan. And then you have the monthly cost. Whereas with the loan, we may not be getting yield, but it's not actually costing us anything. In terms of fees, there's like, I'll have to double check. There's no retainer fee. I'm actually quite sure of that. No trading fees with Skynet. None of that. But with Flowdesk, you would have that retainer, which, we could negotiate a smaller scale proposal with them, but it wasn't that much different. It was, I think, 6 exchanges instead of 4, and you'd be paying somewhere around $15,000 every month just to maintain it. And so, very interesting. I think it could be competitive for some projects, but all things balanced, I would highly suggest that Skynet can solve what we need the quickest, the fastest, and the only real last thing to solve there is about the KYC onboarding, which is actually going to be true for all of them. And Flodex being out of the U.S., they'd probably be even stricter and more hurdles to jump over. That was the indication I got. So with Skynet, they understand what we said about the UBO questions. They indicated they've worked with other foundations that don't have UBOs, and seem to be quite confident that we can solve that. So if we get to that stage, the directors would probably be introduced and work directly with Skynet, and hopefully you guys could work out the KYC stuff relatively easy, just the documents and some standard stuff, and it would probably go through pretty smoothly. So that's the idea. I don't want to take up too much time on this until I get all of this in writing in the main channel, so I'll drop that in here. You guys are welcome to sound off and ask further questions there. Keep the conversation going. And yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. Yeah, and then Coder Dan, would you like to touch on rethinking borrowing for Aavegotchi lending? I think this was kind of sparked by the Gotchi Battler, right?
Yeah. I don't have any new thoughts on it. I think we had a pretty good discussion, and the community has basically said there's no need to really change the meta too much at this point. Land lending will, I think it's going to be coming online not too long from now anyway. So people will be able to get land as well if they want to. So we would see at that time if it still makes sense to keep it. But I think for right now, the signal was pretty clear. There didn't seem to be too much of an appetite to get rid of that requirement.
Okay.
And I haven't really seen has anyone seen people coming in complaining that they can't participate in Gotchi Battler because of this issue? I think I saw 1 or 2. But Gotchi Battler is more, it's like a rarity farming competition, so it's not clear if it's not really geared towards people like newcomers coming to the protocol. At the same time, we shouldn't actively make it difficult for people to try to play our games.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think Immaterial would have more points on this if he wants to talk about it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I just wanted to kick off the conversation because I saw people were talking about it.
No mic.
No mic. Okay. Yeah, I'll link back to the thread here. This is the thread if anyone wants to bring it up before the next competition. I don't think we would really, it is sort of a timely issue. So if we wanted to change it before the bigger competition, we would need to get that SIG prop basically made pretty soon here in order to get that SIG prop, core prop done before the 19th.
Yeah, Material just asking the DAO, how would people feel about lending training gotchis? See what you guys think about that.
What is just a training, like a low BRS gotchi? What is a training gotchi?
Let's see what he says. The teams you can battle in training. So lending for training, but not lending for tournaments? Is that what you're saying? For both. For both training and tournaments. Can yeah, see what you guys' opinions are, but maybe that's one to continue in that forum thread there, and we can follow back up on that hopefully next week if there's some decision point to be made or proposal to be put forward. Sigprop.
I mean, if it would be if Immaterial wants to make a sig prop, he can. I'm not going to make it.
Yeah.
It's not really, doesn't seem to be too high priority of an issue at this point.
Mm-hmm.
He's welcome to if you like, but it seemed from the community sentiment it probably wouldn't get voted in. Never know though.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. So with that, I'd like to take maybe 5 minutes and just touch on the Aavegotchi grants proposal. And so the results I thought were interesting. This is our first iteration of this proposal, putting it forward to the DAO. And it was 50-50, almost 50-50 down the middle. And so I was speaking to FIFO and some of the other team members. We've taken feedback from the forum posts. There was 2 forum posts on this grants program. And ultimately, the goal of this grants program is to drive the growth of our ecosystem. Maybe not specifically internally, could be internally, but also people coming to the DAO, finding what we're doing here interesting, and maybe have an interesting or innovative idea or initiative that they would want to put forward, and could be a small ask that they might not want to put through a sig prop and a core prop process. It could also address project needs, smaller project needs, as well as like supporting projects that are leveraging Gotchi chain. So that's a big one that we've been thinking about is Gotchi chains coming up, and it could be a opportunity for us to connect with developers that have experimental ideas, experimental innovative ideas that could be promising revenue for the DAO in the future, or it could be experiences that could attract more players and more developers to our ecosystem. So I think those are the primary targets for the program. But also this grants program would be able to fund like community engagement initiatives as well. And so projects that are already operating within our community as well as guilds. So funding guild events, things like guild summits and large gatherings that guilds want to take up upon themselves as well. Could be something that that this grants program would be able to cover. There were some issues that were brought up, some feedback that was brought up during the vote. One of them being, well, actually here, let me pull up the ones that I have here. So in response to the feedback, what we're thinking is we're going to lower the overall budget as well as the project funding budget. Don't have the exact amounts yet, but we'll lower it below the 130K that we were asking. And then also lower the project max cap, not only to get rid of some legal KYC issues, but also to kind of stay within the scope of what this grants committee is trying to achieve, which is to fund small grants. So we've defined that below 10K, previously 50K, which maybe was not necessary because I think you could still do quite a bit with 10K, even with Unity builds. And then also looking at the compensation. I know there was some comments made on the compensation. So looking at the compensation that's more reflective of the work and the skill sets of each person rather than having kind of a flat rate, but that is also something that we're going to be looking at and adjusting those numbers as well. So, looking at some sort of hourly compensation from day one instead of having like the way it was structured in this proposal. That's the gist of what I got from the proposal. But we will be refining this, making some tweaks that I mentioned here, and I'll post that in the forum sometime probably next week or early the week after that. I'll have something in the forum there. Let's see here. Just read. If you guys have any comments, drop them in the chat. Hardcore, if we use the rules laid out in the white paper, it'd be a lot easier to pass small props. That was the alternative discussion there. That was possibly adjusting the quorum, like to have 3 levels of quorum for proposals, and maybe even removing a core proposal for some of these projects. That, I guess, is a discussion to be had if the DAO feels they would have the capacity to hold projects accountable for like work being done on time and stuff, and especially communicating with the DAO when something is not working out. So I think that's where there's a bit of a gap in the current process. Is there projects we have funded that have had hangups or have not worked out, and there's not been very much communication in that sense, or a sense of accountability. So, to have that, especially when working with maybe community members who are very new to the community, who do have like great ideas, great skill set, are able to execute on a project, but are not quite trusted, that could be helpful to have a committee like that to be able to like liaison between those parties and the DAO. That's where I see there being a benefit between the snapshot approach of just having a kind of DAO run grants program versus a committee run grants program. Yeah, and to FaZe's question, actually, that is actually something I would like more feedback from the DAO on, is this committee is designed or intends to be pretty flexible in what it's able to fund and do, but ultimately it would be helpful for us to know how you would envision, because you at the end of the day, you're builders and creators, so you probably do have ideas that you wanted to go to the DAO for, and you just didn't want to do it because of the arduous proposal process, or maybe your ask was really small and you didn't feel like it was worth the lengthy process that you have to go through for the DAO, or maybe you have an experimental idea that you're not quite sure that would work, but you might want to get some funds to start experimenting with it and show the DAO what you can do. That's the way I see it, but yeah, open to feedback on that. I'm also going to drop a feedback form here, and some of what you're saying here is covered in the form as well. I'd actually appreciate if at least some of y'all could look at this form and give us some of your feedback, because that would be immensely helpful.
Yeah, I think a lot of times there's just not enough feedback on proposals. Like if you vote no on something on Snapshot, it's really helpful to just leave a quick comment on why you voted no. Really does help the proposal author go back and improve the proposal.
Yeah, ultimately we want this to work for the greater benefit of the DAO, and so trying to refine it and to serve the needs of the DAO. And so your feedback is really helpful in helping shape this out. And there's been a lot of good feedback so far, so all feedback's appreciated. And I just dropped the Aavegotchi grants feedback form there, so if you can have a look, and just there's 3 long form fields, so you can fill out as much as you want there, and we'll have a look and come back to the DAO with a subsequent proposal. Yeah, hardcore saying need to pay someone 150 hours to read your 2K prop is not being more efficient. The solution is worse than simply taking more risk and lower quorum at that point. That's definitely an argument to be had, and that's another point we're trying to address as well, is to not be so, to have the scope of what the committee is trying to do match with the budget and the compensation. I think everything should be more in line with this new iteration, because I know before we were looking at a a complete framework for the DAO, and then we're moving to small proposals, and now just adjusting this this proposal specifically for small asks and small grants.
And it's, to be clear, it's like it's more than just reading a proposal. You guys are you're also doing the accountability for the proposals as well, and there might be various like mentoring involved or helping them write better proposals and giving them clarity on what the DAO wants to fund. It's not just reading a proposal and deciding whether you're going to fund it or not.
Yeah, and you know, I'm not going to speak to myself, but I can speak to the other team members. These are, in my opinion, for this committee and what they can do, are very well equipped in terms of experience and technical knowledge, and having the highest, you know, giving the highest possible chance for grants to actually fund to completion, to actually deliver. So, yeah, that's just my take on it. But again, would appreciate your feedback, and we'll follow up next week or the week after, early the week after. But
Awesome.
that's all I got, friends. That's all I got for the DAO call. And I'm doing a weekly space with Jarvis James from Bankless DAO. That's at 10 a.m. PST. So that's 1 p.m. Eastern. 1 p.m. Eastern every Friday. And we have people all from all over the DAO space, from the decentralized space, talking about open source projects and why it's important to have open source in Web3. And yeah, it's a good time. So you're welcome to join us there every Friday. Other than that, keep an eye out for all the Gotchi content out there right now. Gotchi Bulls. Make sure you give them a follow.
Oh, yeah.
And that's all I got. You guys got anything else up here?
We're good. We're almost through the first month of the year, friends. Been definitely exciting, and really excited for February as well, with ETH Denver and lots of new shipping on our side. So thank you everyone for coming out to this call. We got 46 friends in the audience. I'm gonna put my head on a pillow and get some rest, and look forward to another big week of shipping next week.
Hell yeah.
And yes, we have added new pieces of lore. Thank you, friends. Thank you for the twerking. So good. Have a great rest of your Saturday or Sunday, friends.
Yeah, later, friends. Have a good week.
Peace.
Take it easy.